Oh, sorry, folks. I'm having trouble with my phone. This is a new iPhone, and yet it keeps overheating, and I'm concerned it's going to happen again. So I'm sort of shifting the phone in front of the cooler and trying to take the cover off and hold the phone the right way, so it's a bit difficult. I've tried a vlogging stick, but my phone, I've got the Max Pro, so it's not going to fit in. So sorry about that. This is part 2. Keep going, Chris.
So how much did we get there? I don't know where we...
Oh, I don't know where we finished off. It was something about in the car and about the heat of the car. Oh, no, I said when you said that feeling suicidal was a huge thing out on the streets, and I think that there's two different things. There's I want to kill myself, I want to throw myself in front of a bus, or I hope that I don't wake up tomorrow morning. Which of those sorts of feelings do you think is more likely?
The more prevalent one is I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
It's a thought, like I just said. I'm not sure if everybody got that whole conversation, but if every single homeless person more than once considers ending things, and usually late at night, you'll be lying there alone, and the thought will go through your head. And quite often people will make attempts on that. I made several attempts, whether it be tablets. I was admitted to the Royal Adelaide after taking 64 Panadol.
Did you really?
I did. I went to Westcare.
So that was to try and end your misery?
It was. I went to Westcare and I was throwing up in their toilet, and Westcare rang the Royal Adelaide and told them what was going on, and my bag was given to them and they counted the tablets that were taken. Another homeless person told them that he had just taken this many tablets and he had taken them all in one go over a period of 2 hours. And I was told that I may have done liver and kidney damage, and so they sent me to the Royal Adelaide, and the Royal Adelaide done a stomach pump. They gave me a drink that reduced more vomiting, and that was, I went through hell with that. There was a night where I tried to slash my wrist.
It's the Ipecac, something like that, isn't it? Yeah. So how long into your homelessness journey did that happen with a Panadol?
Oh, that was only last year.
Oh, so that was a fair way in then? Or?
Yeah, no, but I made several attempts before that.
Right.
I have a scar on my wrist. In the first 4 years, I took a knife to my wrist in the middle of the night. And I was found by a passerby trying to slice into my wrist, and the knife was taken off me, and an ambulance was called. I was taken to hospital and they stitched that up. You know, I was made to undergo a psychological assessment at that stage. I've had several attempts. I've done some things that are actually a lot more scary than that. You know, I'm not sure I want to disclose these here. But I suppose I will. I don't want to scare the public.
No, we need to get this out there, scary bits and all, because it's factual.
I'm listed as a firearms risk with SAPOL and also Victorian Police. Here it wasn't because I wanted to kill myself with a gun, but I got a hold of a firearm in Victoria. And I went beneath a tree and I was intent on ending things. And I was actually crash tackled by 4 big Italian men. One of them took the gun off me and the police were called, and once again I was admitted to hospital. I was actually sectioned. I was sectioned in Victoria, and I was put in a facility where I climbed over the back wall and escaped. It was a brush fence. I thought to myself, really, that's your fence? It's a brush fence, I can climb that.
Yes, I can get over that one easy enough.
And so I escaped, you know, and so it's something that several times, it comes back to all those things that you see on the street, you know, and I've seen endless people die, you know.
So how many times did you try and take your own life throughout your 17 years?
4.
4 times.
That's 4 I made the genuine attempts.
Yes.
But the number of nights that I thought about it was a lot more than that.
A lot more than that.
That was almost nightly.
Yep.
You know, you think about it.
Yep.
And as you know, more here in Modbury, in Civic Park, I had accepted my own death. You know, this is...
Well, you did. You said to me, I'm going to die on the streets. I've accepted that now, Sonia, and, you know, you won't be able to get me housing. You won't be able to do this for me, and you won't be able to do that for me. I've accepted my lot in life. I've been homeless too long.
That's right, and I've accepted that my bowel obstruction, either that or the epilepsy, would kill me.
But you didn't really know me.
But just before that, I had a series of seizures. I had one in the plaza late last year. And there's a lovely woman called Donna who's still a friend now that my partner has met. And she found me down by Woolworths at the escalators having a seizure there. And security were called and came with the medical kit and the ambulance was called. Before that, I was found having a seizure up at the Uniting Church across from the council chambers by a girl called Tamika. The seizures were something that I honestly thought would kill me.
So just that in itself, your own health issues and the health issues that you had being out on the streets, you must have been in constant fear living out there all the time.
Eventually you learn to live with it. I feared it for the first 4, 5, maybe even 6, 7 or 8 years. But eventually you deal with it and you accept it. You realise there's nothing else I can do out here. I'm not going to be housed, like you said. I had accepted that I wasn't going to be housed. And so this was where my life was.
Did you ever get the promise of housing throughout that period of time? Did you apply for housing or anything?
I did. Yes.
And what happened?
That's a whole other subject. I'm not sure we want to go into here.
Okay, so maybe we'll put a night aside for that too, because
that's a discussion on towards home, the failures of the housing system.
Yes.
The promise.
So, in other words, did you get your hopes up over and over and over again to get nothing?
Oh, yes, I did. I went to Hutt Street Centre and I did intake with their worker there. Before I was referred to towards home, they were going to originally put me in Carrington Cottages. And the meeting was arranged. I still have it on my phone. The appointment time, I got back to Hutt Street Centre for the appointment and the worker didn't arrive and I was told that she was sick. And so I'm like, okay, she's sick, and another appointment was arranged and I went back there and this time she had a problem with her car, it had broken down. And sooner or later you start to get sick of the excuses and you go, look, this isn't going to happen.
Yes.
I'm not going to get housed in Carrington Cottages. It's like they are just playing you, leading you.
It's such a common story from people on the streets that I hear constantly, and a lot of people have actually given up on life and just said, no, I don't want a house. I've had enough. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick to death of telling people my story over and over and over and over again, only to be disappointed again. And I'm sorry, I can't go through that again.
Right. And I had towards home who made me do their in-depth, what is the word I'm looking for here? Invasive questionnaire. You've heard it. Are you gay?
Yeah, how many times did you have sex last week?
All the invasive questions.
All of the human rights violations
and
of privacy violations.
Down for 2 hours each week, and you go through the paperwork and you tell them the story, and they promise you that they've got a meeting with the housing SA manager that never seems to happen.
Yes.
And then I came back to Modbury to be told that because I'd left the city and I'd come to the suburbs, that I was no longer engaging with towards home because they don't engage with homeless people in the suburbs and they only concentrate on the city. And I couldn't believe it. I thought, well, I've done intake, I've gone through your paperwork.
Why on earth didn't you tell me that in the first place so I didn't waste my time?
They completely wasted my time.
Yep.
And then so I engaged with, as you know, Anwar through the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army, and this was what really got me there. I'm just going to generalise here now. The public should know about this sort of thing. So everybody behind the Salvation Army was housed. But when the Salvation Army brought Anwar in, they never sat Anwar down and said to them, these aren't the only people in Modbury who are homeless. We'd like you to engage with our other clients as well. No, they only engaged with the 4 guys out the back, and that was all they were there for. And when the rest of us questioned them and said, well, why can't we engage with Anwar? And they said, oh, well, we'll ask them. It's like, well, why weren't they informed that there's other homeless people? And then when Anwar came back, I'd done the intake with them. And it went on for a week, nothing happened. It went on for 2 weeks, nothing happened. So I emailed them. I've still got those emails. And they said, oh, haven't you been allocated a caseworker? And I said, no. They said, have you done intake? I said, yes.
Well, probably because I was tying up all their resources, getting my people that I wanted to get housed.
Well, but they then said to me, and this was someone called Leanne, and she said to me, look, what we'll do, we'll talk to our caseworkers.
Because I only had 2 workers.
Yeah, well, that's what they told me. They didn't have
I only had 2 workers.
But they said they would get back to me.
Yeah.
And, they actually said in the email, they said, we'll get back to you in a few days.
Yeah.
I waited another week. I waited another 2 weeks. I sent off another email saying, am I going to be engaged? Because I've been waiting. And there was nothing. They never replied to the email at all.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is getting...
There's huge systematic failures. There's huge problems within the system. And all these things need to be fixed. And it's so frustrating for homeless people. And I actually said to somebody today, we need guarantees now. We need guarantees so that I can go to people and say, we will guarantee you a house if you jump through these hoops one last time.
But so everybody knows.
Trust me.
It wasn't until Sonia came along and arranged for a reporter named Luke from the Advertiser who came out and interviewed me in my car, and with the assistance also of Nat Cook, who I have to give credit to. Nat was responsible for contacting Housing SA after she got the records from the Royal Adelaide through Freedom of Information, and I was put onto Category 1. But I realised I'd still face a wait. But it wasn't until Sonia arranged for Luke to come along, and Luke done the interview, that between Sonia and Luke, Housing SA were forced into a corner, realising that there was a man who would potentially die in his car because he couldn't have access to his medication that might save his life. And so I have always given Sonia the credit here for helping me get housed. You know, and even then, I might not have stayed in housing, you know, without having furnishings. You know, it's not something Housing SA arranged. That was something that Sonia went out of her way to arrange. I had guys rock up here on the day I moved in, and the minute I signed the lease, they were out the front with the furniture that Sonia had arranged, and Sonia was also present. So, you know, I'm extremely thankful after all these years to be housed, and that it took Sonia to do it, where the services failed.
Well, I'm a force to be reckoned with, I must
You are.
admit.
You know,
Once I got my mind set on something, not much stands in my way in between getting it, and housing people is extremely important to me. And when you said to me that day that you were going to die on the streets and that, you know, you'd accepted that and you'll never get a house, what did I say to you?
You told me that you would get me housed.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I will get you housed, and I don't think you believed me. And
this is where a lot of the people on these pages, you know, and I believe that the credit needs to be got out there for certain things that certain people do, and no one has been listening. I don't believe people have been listening to it. They don't see what goes on. This has been a huge problem for me. And when I discussed this with my partner over here, that no one else, and I said it to a guy, there was a gentleman on the Blockwell page, and I have it on my phone.
Yeah, don't mention that page.
So, no, I didn't want to, but he was new, and so I pulled him up, and I've made it clear, I messaged him privately, and I said to him, no one else is doing what Sonia does. All these other people, they sit behind their keyboards, whereas you are actively out there in the community, you are housing people, and you are feeding people. And no one else is doing this. And you deserve the absolute credit, and you deserve to have everybody know what you have been doing to help the homeless. That the services fail. The services fail miserably. You do intake with them. They do nothing. They're not sending street teams out to help feed people. This is you and Teresa coming out on a Saturday and a Sunday feeding everybody. Making sure on a weekend when there was no other dinner available and no other breakfast available, that you were doing it. And I haven't got enough good words to express for what you've done for the homeless.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that.
And I really haven't. It's something that I must admit I've got to start harping to everyone who will listen out in the community about Sonia Blackwell and what she does and what you're all not listening to. You know?
Well, I'm a very private person, and I figure that it's no one else's business what I do.
It's not, but you should be absolutely proud of everything that you do.
I like to go under the radar and keep what I do to myself. No one needs to know what I do. Only the people that I help.
I think
you know what I do, and that's all that matters.
I think you're in line for an Australia Day award. You know, I really do. Like that they do it for people in the community, and you deserve it. You deserve the honour.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's sweet.
You know, so getting back to the topic at hand, though, I think we've just discussed now, and I think I've given a pretty good idea of that emotional and physical toll that it takes. The mental toll that it takes.
How are you feeling now, emotionally and mentally? Now you've got your place. Is there still lingering psychological issues, or are you in a much better place now?
It is actually a battle every single day still, in my head and in my heart. As you know, I've expressed before that they're my community out there.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the battle in my head.
And they've been
first.
your community for over, nearly 2 decades.
Yeah, they have. And
Yep.
you miss the people out there.
Yep.
You miss the services, and you find yourself wanting to go back.
Because it gave you a sense of community.
It did, but it's a battle to rejoin the community as what you were before.
Oh, you'll never be what you were before. Yeah,
what you became.
You're someone different now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing,
you're someone different now, and you're also. I think that your goals. You said before you had goals beforehand that you haven't reached, but I believe that your goals have probably changed now to what they were, say, 15 years ago.
They have, but you find yourself still wanting what you wanted all those years ago again.
Yeah.
Because you consider now that you can have it. But there's also the...
But do you know how to get it after being off the street, on the streets?
I know how to get it.
For 17 years.
There's that I want to go back. I'm going on the trip to Melbourne for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And I'm going to struggle while I'm there to not visit certain locations. I know I shouldn't.
Why?
Because I should leave that in the past and try to move forward now. But I want to go and visit those places, those people.
Well, Chris, as a lifelong counsellor, I would probably advise you to do what your heart wants to do. And if your heart wants to go to those places and seek out those people and those old mates that you might see, for goodness sake, do it. You're not under any person's authority to tell you that you can't. You have to leave the other life that you had behind totally and move on to a new life. That's always going to be part of you.
But there is a certain aspect of moving forward.
But you are moving forward, but that doesn't mean you have to do that at the expense of your other life.
No, not at all. And that's where the battle between the mind and the heart is.
Yes.
Your heart wants something and your mind's telling you that this is not healthy anymore.
Yeah, it is healthy because these are old friends. It's not as if you're going back to that lifestyle. You're just keeping in touch with the network that you had, which is healthy.
The problem with that I'm finding is that the knowledge that you develop, you can fall behind on that knowledge where things progress, things change, and you no longer know what you thought you knew because things have changed.
Yeah, but you're too smart for that, Chris.
Yeah,
you're a very highly intelligent, very smart man, and you won't fall into that trap.
I won't, but since I've been to certain services, they may have updated their facilities, so your knowledge is no longer relevant.
Yeah.
To what
But you can still go back and reminisce, and if you see someone, you can say hi, or as you said, you went somewhere the other day, and people came around and treated you the same as they always do. Hi, Chris.
Yeah,
and you'll probably get that no matter where you go, Melbourne as well, and embrace that. Yeah, hi, how you going? I've got a house now. How are you?
Well, I know that straight away that I'll go over there, and there are certain people, and I know where they are because I'm keeping track of where they are. They make videos as well of certain locations.
I think it's healthy too to go back and look at that and say, look how far I've come. Look where I am today, and this is where I was, and be proud and happy that your life is now different.
Well, that sort of makes me feel guilty as well. There's that element of guilt.
The guilt aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've now got a house and a fiance and everything else, but if you had seen somebody on the street, a mate that was in that situation, and you were still on the street, you'd be happy for them, wouldn't you?
I have tried to not go down the track of saying, come back to my place and have a shower. That's been difficult.
Yeah, or pull on the couch surf for a night or something.
Yeah, that's been extremely difficult.
Oh, it's so complex, isn't it?
It very much is.
Really complex situation.
And then to leave them out there, like you walk away and bye now.
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
going home.
Yes, exactly.
And that makes me feel really guilty because when I was out there, everybody else was always going home, and you were not. You were never going home, and you know that those people still aren't going home.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you hear is somebody else died.
Yeah.
And that's not a nice feeling.
It's a tough life, isn't it? It's a really tough life.
Really tough.
Yeah.
And then the aspect of freedom. To have your freedom to want to go back out there again, to not be used to this. It's still only 6 months in, and there's not a day that goes by where I just want to go. I just want to go. I just want to throw my bag on my back and go again. And that's tough.
Could you do that just for a couple of days to scratch that itch, and then you probably think, shit, I'm out here now, I don't like it, I'm going home again? At least you've got somewhere to go to.
Well, I'm lucky that I have someone that will always make me come back now. Because...
And I think that's been the key to this working.
It actually has.
Yeah, we were discussing this today, and I said Linda is the reason that Chris is still surviving as he is in that place.
She is. She is the reason I've survived here. Because I have left places before. The one place I had in town when they put me in what they call the crack flats, by the old lady, there they are, they're the crack flats. That was when street team from Hutt Street Centre existed, and I walked away. They furnished the place for me.
Yep.
And I got my gear in one bag, I shut the door, and I walked. Because I was only 2 weeks in. And that was when they didn't offer you any support. There was no support whatsoever. And I was not ready to be housed yet, mentally. Even if you think you want to be housed, there's the mental
have to be
aspect.
ready.
Your heart and your head need to be ready for it. You need to know how to survive in a home again. And you have to really make a go of things. And my head was not in any space.
So if your head's not in it, and you know that it really wouldn't work, you...
It's not hard to pack a bag and walk away.
Exactly, yeah. So maybe if for instance, if you and I had have met earlier, and I had have got you a place earlier, it may not have worked.
No,
you may not have been ready to do that, where maybe everything happens for a reason, I think.
I became ready about 2 to 3 months before we met.
Yeah. So it was meant to be.
At the church, when during winter it was dropping to 2 to 3 degrees, and I was having to wait every single night till 11 p.m. to go back to that church. That's when I no longer wanted to be out there.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's when I was having more suicidal thoughts at that point. And I never had the suicidal thought every night after night after night. That was when I had it. But before that, like last year, staying in the city again. In the city, you're able to go to sleep at any time you want. You just pull up at a doorway 7 p.m. And dump your head down. You have every...
Being psychologically ready, is it the type of thought of, I am really tired of this life, I don't think I can do it anymore, I really want to try something different?
It is. Very much so.
And do you think age has a bit to do with that? As you get older, you think, oh gee, I've had enough of this lifestyle?
Not age as such.
No?
No, because I've never really felt my age, and I'm not sure, this is obviously different for everybody, but I've heard a lot of people say it, so it might not be different for everybody. Like, I know how old I am, but my mind still feels 28, 32.
What decade are you in? You in your 40s?
Yes.
In your 40s?
Yes.
So can you imagine still being out on the street in, say, 10, 20 years' time?
I can't imagine it, but I know it's possible because there's so many out there that I know who are doing it, and they're doing it well.
Are you happy that you're now in the unit and not on the street anymore, and your life is different now?
I am happy in a certain way, but I'm only 6 months in, so it's still yeah, fresh. It's still very fresh. You know,
So you think, well, so the transition period is going to take a long, long time.
I'm hoping the transition period will only take another 6 months.
Yeah,
You know,
because you were out there a long time.
I was, you know, and now I've made plans as to where I want to be in 12 months. And so the fact that I'm thinking about 12 months down the track and where I'd like to be, it shows me that I am already.
Yeah. Look, I honestly think, you know, when I look at people, I sort of do my assessments and everything else in my head. And I really believe that if anyone was going, if I could house anyone that's been as homeless for as long as you have, and that it was going to be successful, you I think were the best hope of anyone that I've been working with that's been homeless that long. I think you were the person that I thought, yeah, Chris can do this. And I think you need to give yourself a huge pat on the back because you are doing it.
Well, I am.
You are doing it.
We're building a home here.
Yeah, and you should be so proud of yourself because it's not an easy thing that you're doing. It's very, very difficult, very complex, and you need to understand how brave you are.
Well, this is why I believe that others that you might house that you know of, I believe that they'll walk away.
They probably will, but all we can do is try.
Yeah, that's exactly
and
right.
And if he's not ready, then he's not gonna. It's not gonna work. Or if she's not ready, or whoever's not ready. But sometimes we don't know that. We've just got to try, give them as much support as possible, and if they walk away, they walk away.
I really hate to say it to you, but when you know somebody so well, and that this person you have spent more time with than most people, you know this person, you know how this is going to.
I do, Chris. But I'm of the opinion that if you show somebody that you care while they're out there,
that's exactly right.
It helps them survive even out there and gives them another person to contact with, another person that cares about them, and all of a sudden they've got this community of people that care about them. So if they want to be here, they want to come back, and they want to reach out, we are here, and that's all we can do.
And that's the attitude I've actually taken in that regard.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you've got to do is I'm here if you need me, but you need to do what's right for you and your life. I'm going to try and help you if you want the help, which that person said he does want the help. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
that's actually been another huge guilt factor for me.
Yeah.
To not be out there when somebody's in trouble.
Yeah.
And you know that you can help.
Yeah.
And no one would probably believe that one homeless person can help another homeless person.
Of course they can.
But we are able to help another homeless person probably better than anybody else.
Yes, because you understand. Yep.
You know.
And you are a community. I mean, I've noticed too since working on the streets that being on the streets is very political. It's a very political place, and there is a lot of jail politics on the street, and usually the jail politics that are in jail follow them out onto the street too, and there's much the same politics on the street as what's in jail. And you know, there's a code, and there's this and that and everything, and you live by that code. But at the end of the day, majority of people, even though they support, you know, all there for one another and support one another, and rally around when somebody needs them, sort of thing. There's that camaraderie of connection with other people on the streets. You've got that connection.
And that's why we actually see a lot of war veterans turning to homelessness.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think we were going to discuss as reasons.
Yeah, look, I think we'll leave it now because we've been going for an hour, but tonight's has been fascinating, and we can talk and talk and talk about so many different subjects, Chris, because you're such a wealth of knowledge. And we'll continue on next Thursday night. We'll see if we can get Adam to come next Thursday night and get a bit of his perspective as well.
I would love to have Adam on to have his perspective on things.
Yeah, and well, I did call in and try and pick him up tonight, but he's not feeling very well, so wasn't a good time. And I didn't give him any prior warning, poor love, so because we had to change nights, because tomorrow night's Halloween. So we shifted it to tonight, and next week my daughter turns 16, so I'm taking her out. Yeah, taking her out. So we'll do it Thursday nights for the next couple of weeks, and go back to Friday nights. But these conversations with you are fascinating, and I think people find them really, really interesting. And the live feed will be up on Facebook for the next month, and then I've also got a YouTube channel that I store these videos on, so if people want to watch them in full afterwards, they can do either. Thank you again, Chris, for another fascinating interview, and we'll see you next Thursday night to discuss some more topics on homelessness. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
And thanks for your lovely words too. I really appreciate that. You know, it's always nice to feel appreciated by the people that you do support. So I appreciate that. Thank you.